We'll go over some best bets for the week. We have a bunch of ranked teams here in our best bets this week. We'll start off with number 5, Clemson, minus 3.5 at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's actually been playing pretty well as of late. They've been beating teams. They have that terrible loss at Marshall,
Yeah, that
or
was
not at Marshall. Marshall actually came into their building and won that game. But they have that terrible loss to Marshall. If it wasn't for that, they'd probably be ranked somewhere, towards the end, but still ranked somewhere. Um, I think Clemson though is just going to be able to pull this one out. They've Look, their defense has been great for most of the year. We've seen some lapses here and there, but for the most part, they're pretty stable
yeah, they're pretty consistent.
in terms of putting together a good effort. Even if the first half doesn't go the way they wanted to, they're able to self correct and really clamp down in the second half. I think for a Clemson team that look, they still have the pedigree of being Clemson, Dabo Sweeney, that aura, that swagger. They're going to be able to walk into Notre Dame and do what's needed. They know, similar to how we talked about, TCU team that needs to be undefeated to make the playoff. I think a year like this, where Clemson hasn't really done anything spectacular, and all those good teams towards the top right now, kind of in that cluster,
Yeah,
there isn't really any room for error, I don't think, for Clemson as it stands now. Like, we see college football, crazy things happen. I wouldn't say there's no chance for them to get in if they have a loss, but they would need other things to go their way, other teams to kind of eat each other alive to, for them to be back in the mix. So
yeah,
I think they know the severity of this. This is a game they should win, right? They are a better team than Notre Dame. It's on the road, which is a bit of a trap kind of thing, but I like Clemson's chances. I think that I was going to have the guys ready to go. I think the defense is going to show up. And I think DJ is going to play a decent game. I mean, we talked about DJ kind of not living up to hype. We talked about that a ton, but he's had plenty of games where he still puts up great
yeah.
numbers.
He does put up good numbers, and I don't
And
think they'll shake them.
I think DJ is going to be able to do that against a Notre Dame team that honestly too, you know, it's not a very good matchup for Notre Dame because they are offensively challenged.
Hmm.
And for a team like Clemson, they might be able to just roll in there and just put their foot on their throat early, clamp down, and be able
And
to give up not many points. Hold them to 10 points or less, and kind of cruise to victory here. So I do like Clemson there. With a 3.5 point spread, I think they'll be able to
they'll be able
cover
to
that.
cover that for sure.
We have Liberty ranked number 23 right now. Liberty picking up some big wins, and they're rolling into Arkansas, who is unranked at the moment. Arkansas is, they've been up and down, right? Not very consistent. Some games they put together an amazing effort and they win pretty well. Other times they struggle. We saw them struggle, even against lesser competition at times, and really
Right.
have to rally back late. So, yeah, Liberty is a explosive offensively as well. So I like Liberty to cover this 13.5 point spread. Um, Arkansas should ultimately win, right? But for 13.5 points against a team that runs the ball, very run dominant offense that Arkansas has, we know they struggle a little bit in the secondary. Liberty is able to air it out on you. I like Liberty to cover that 13.5 point spread. I think Auburn will kind of help them with that by running the ball a lot and kind of, you know, limiting some possessions here and there. So yeah, I definitely like that as one of my best bets. We talked about Tennessee and Georgia.
Right.
I have Tennessee and that 8.5 point spread at Georgia. I think Tennessee is going to come to play. This could be a game that's like an instant classic, kind of a close
Close
game,
matchup.
whether it be high scoring or low scoring. I think these teams are pretty well matched, and yeah, I think that's too many points to give a Tennessee team that's on the road. I mean, Tennessee, I wouldn't be surprised personally if Tennessee won outright.
Right.
So to give me 8 points here, I like it.
That's a good one.
I think
Yeah.
they'll be able to score the ball, even on Georgia's defense. So I like Tennessee to keep some things close. We have Kentucky at Missouri. Kentucky, threw up a dud last week against Tennessee. We saw Missouri kind of take Georgia down to the wire a bit earlier this year, but I think Kentucky's a much better team.
Yeah, I think they'll wake up.
Yeah, I
Will
think
Levis will have a lot better performance than he did last week. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I like Kentucky there. And then we have South Carolina at Vanderbilt. South Carolina, 7.5 point favorites at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has been not as bad as usual this year, but still for a South Carolina team that played very well recently. They did pick up a loss last week, but their star running back Marshawn Lloyd got knocked out of the game. He should be back for this game. I like South Carolina to roll here and cover that spread against Vanderbilt. And so that'll do it for this week's college football coverage. We'll get back to you next week, have some more best bets, recap some games, do some more previews, and so on and so forth. So see you guys next week.